Good evening. Welcome to the January 28th, 2019 Valley View School Board meeting. Member Badouris, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Member Pero, would you give us the board affirmation statement, please?
Our mission is to empower all learners to be college and career ready and to develop, grow, and achieve as productive citizens.
Dr. Mitchum, the agenda, if you would.
I'd like to ask that the board approve the agenda as presented.
Motion? Motion and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Moving down the agenda. Consent agenda items. Dr. Mitchum.
Yes, Mr. Quigley, I'd like to ask that the board approve consent agenda items 5.1 through 5.4. 5.1, board meeting minutes, 11/14/19. 5.2, executive session meeting minutes, January 14/19. 5.3, gifts for Jamie McGee Elementary School, Student Services Department, Bolingbrook High School, and Romeoville High School. And 5.4, Air Force Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, renewal of memorandum of agreement.
Motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Pero?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. I don't believe we have any student or staff recognition in the evening. Is that correct? Thank you. Liaison reports. From my right. From my left. Member Sikora has one.
Yes. On Tuesday, January 15th, Member Pero and myself attended a Behavior Intervention Committee meeting. We're working on strategies and support systems that can help teachers at all levels help students concentrate on what is important in school.
Any others? Real quickly, give a legislative update. As you know, the election held in November. There was a new swearing in of the Illinois General Assembly, which will be the 101st General Assembly, which is a 2-year cycle. That occurred 2 weeks ago on the 7th and 8th, I believe. And the following week was the swearing in of the governor and all the statewide elected officials in Illinois. I did have an opportunity to attend both those ceremonies. And we'll say that I think it'll be a new day in Springfield. Whether you're Republican, Democrat, or Independent, I think there'll be some differences on how things are accomplished. I don't think there'll be as much gridlock with one party controlling all three, the executive, the legislative branches, the House and Senate. So that being said, we look forward to seeing what the 101st Illinois General Assembly brings to us. And I'll be, down there on occasion working on issues along with others that have interest in the education in Illinois. Also, I'm going to appoint Sally Gilbo to the attendance committee. This is an ad hoc committee that will be meeting weekly up until sometime in mid-April. Is that correct?
At least for the next 1 to 2 months, and then it will go back to less infrequent.
Okay. And at some point, you guys will come back with a report?
Yeah, we definitely will. There are a lot of, there's some guidance that's changed from the state level in terms of definition of an instructional day. There's also the new way the state is looking at chronic absenteeism, and so we want to ensure that all of our policies and our supports are in alignment with this and supportive of ensuring that students are in time in school the majority of the time, as much time as possible, whether it's excused or unexcused, and so we'll be bringing back some information.
Great, thank you.
Okay, I have an announcement as well. On Saturday, January 26th, the IASB, Illinois Association of School Boards, Three Rivers, held a conference, first time ever, with the state representatives and senators to meet with superintendents, school board members, to answer questions or to tell us what was going on in the state. It was very interesting. It was a nice way to get to talk to them if you needed to talk to them or ask questions. I hope they continue to do that.
Thank you. Moving down unless there's any others, I don't see any. Audience participation. Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to address the board this evening? Seeing none, moving down the agenda. Dr. Mitchum, Student Due Process Case A.
Yes, Mr. Quigley, I'd like to ask that the board approve student due process case A as presented.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley.
Yes. Ms. Kinder, action item number 10, school improvement plans.
Yes, thank you. Action Report 10.1 is for fiscal year 19 Title I School Improvement Grant. At the last board meeting, I explained to the board and the community that Valley View has the opportunity to receive $160,000 approximately in grant money to support specific subgroups in 6 of our schools. These targeted subgroups are English learners and students with IEPs, individualized education plans. And our schools have gone through a process of completing a needs assessment and completing a work plan that has been informed by data and that identifies priority areas of focus for implementing strategies to further support these specific groups of students embedded in their current continuous improvement efforts. As part of the obligation of the grant application, we are required to seek board approval, so I'm bringing that to your attention this evening. The specific work plans are linked into, on board docs, into the action report, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Anyone have any questions? Apparently not. Action item. Need a approval? Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley.
Yes. Mr. Grisafi, item number 11.
3 actions this evening, beginning with 11.1 is the recommendation to approve the contract with the Alice Training Institute for a 3-year period for a total cost of $63,300.
So moved.
Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley.
Yes.
Second action this evening is an approval, recommendation to approve the request by the Village of Romeoville to support the extension request for an additional 12 years of the Downtown Tax Increment Financing District. I've got the rationale there, as well as the letter that was made by Village Manager Steve Golden, and also a map of the TIF district itself. So we are recommending to approve that request as requested.
Any?
So moved.
We have
Second.
motion, second. Any discussion? Just real quick, have they not returned money to us in that TIF in the past, Gary, when they've not needed it?
Not in this TIF.
different.
The Marquette TIF, yes.
Okay, thank
The
you.
downtown TIF, no.
I wanted, for clarification purposes. I think that we have 2 very responsible communities, that when they TIF something, and if they do have excessive funds from those TIFs, they do return that to us. That has been their history, and we appreciate a very good working relationship with both Romeoville and Bolingbrook. So, duly noted. We have a motion and a second. Is there any other comments? Motion to approve. Roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell? Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley.
Yes.
Final action this evening is the recommendation for the renewal of our accounts receivable collection service contract with Transworld Incorporated. We've used them for the last 11 years. A couple years back, we looked at other options and determined that for the cost and the benefit, Transworld was hard to beat, and so we would continue to use them over the next 2 years with this recommendation. So at this time, we are recommending approval of the renewal with Transworld Systems as presented.
So moved.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Next. My computer's not reloading very quickly. Give me a
That
second
would be
here.
me.
Action reports, Ms. Nash, if you would, please.
Action Report 12.1 is the Consolidated Action Report. We are seeking your approval this evening on 14 items for certified personnel, 25 items for classified personnel, 1 item for classified administrative personnel, and 2 items for certified administrative personnel.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell? Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Next up.
Action Report 12.2, we are seeking your approval this evening for the proposed job description for the school psychologist intern. This job description was brought for your review as an information report at the January 14th, 2019 board meeting.
Motion?
So moved.
Member
Second.
Campbell? Any discussion? Any questions? Roll call vote, please.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. And now what you all came to hear.
Action Report 12.3 is we are seeking your approval and recommending your approval of the approved changes in the contractual agreement between the Board of Education of the Valley View Community School District and Valley View Council of Local 604, American Federation of Teachers, AFL-CIO. These changes will be ratified and incorporated into the contractual agreement that will control the terms and conditions of employment, beginning with the 2018 to 2019 school year and extending through the 2020-2021 school year. The members of the Local 604 ratified these changes in a vote held on January 22nd through the 23rd of this year.
Discussion?
So
Oh, I'm
moved.
sorry, motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Real briefly, before we vote, I would like to thank the members of the board, the administration, certainly from the teachers union and all the shops and the different buildings that attended numerous meetings over several months. This started probably, about March a year ago? December? That was, yeah, that's right, first meeting, initial meeting, so over a year ago. Things like this take time. We're a big district. We have lots of people who have interest. We have our interests that we are looking forward to, moving forward, and as does the union, representing their members. But I certainly want to say I appreciate greatly the efforts of Member Perro, Member Badouris, who sat in on most of those meetings. Of course, again, the staff and the teachers and the building representatives. So please convey that. I know it's a bad night for weather and all that, but please convey my sincere appreciation for those efforts, if you would. So we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, a roll call vote would be in order.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. All right, moving down the agenda. New course, Superintendent's Information Report, AP Environmental Science.
That is correct. Information Report 13.1 outlines a course proposal that we're presenting prior to seeking approval at the next board meeting. This was done in conjunction with Christy Vey, Director of Math and Science, and heavily teacher-led based on teacher and student input. Based on a review of data, it is determined that AP Environmental Science was a course in which many of our students had demonstrated potential based on data that we get from the College Board, as well as student interest. We currently offer one semester course of environmental science, but it's a studies course, and it does not let students go much in depth into the field of environmental science. And so this course that we are proposing does just that. It allows for a greater in-depth exploration and a hands-on opportunity for experimentation in the field, as well as investigation, and there's a strong laboratory and field component. AP Environmental Science answers a need in the environmental science field that is a growing career path, and this gives students the opportunity to explore those interests and apply their interest in science in an interdisciplinary fashion, combining geology, biology, environmental studies, environmental science, chemistry, and geography. The course parameters are outlined by the College Board, so this course, of course, meets those and is also in alignment with our next generation science standards and Common Core standards, and provides a great opportunity for our students to deeply engage in this field. There are additional details outlined in the report, and in addition, I have linked in a video into board docs for board members and community to view that is just a short testimonial from the teacher perspective of those who are really supporting the development and wanting to bring the course in for our high school students, as well as some student feedback as to why they feel that this would be a good addition to our advanced placement course offerings. So I'm happy to answer any questions this evening or seek answers from you from the individuals who are most well-versed and expertise in this area and are going to be instructing this course upon your approval in the next school year.
Any questions or at the front end? Real
I have
quick.
a couple
Go ahead.
questions. I have two questions. One is that it says the cost is based on 72 students. If that ever goes up, we have no problem adopting the fact that we get more students. That's not a problem.
That's correct. That would just then factor into our annual budget for replacement textbooks, replenishing supplies. The initial costs are for durable supplies, and so once we have those, then we continue to use those, and then we replenish the consumable products. And then there's also a digital subscription component.
Right.
And so that is based on a per-student basis, and it's part of our budgeting on an annual basis for whether it's a textbook or a lot of digital resources that we use now.
And my other question is the opposite side. If for some reason we don't get the students to support this AP class, are we set in that 6-year adoption? In other words, we have to pay that no matter what, or can't? Because I've never seen us ever say we have to have a course for 6 years.
That's the subscription model. So we certainly can adjust that, and we would ensure that we could. All of our course is based on enrollment and interest. So if students weren't interested in this course, which we believe that they will be, but if,
Right.
say, they weren't, then we would, of course, we wouldn't accumulate any additional costs. We would have only invested what we had to spend to have our initial sections of students take the course.
So this is not set in stone that we
Exactly.
have to pay? Right. Fantastic. Thank you.
I will reiterate my 2 cents worth on AP classes. It saved me an entire semester of school for my eldest son, and I can't imagine anybody who's got a child who's taken these classes and ends up in college isn't greatly appreciative of the amount of money that they can save by taking these prerequisite courses and getting them out of the way while they're still in high school. So as long as we
Absolutely.
can put bodies in the seats and they're getting advantage from it, I don't see why we wouldn't continue to do these. So
Absolutely. Thank you.
Moving down the
I
agenda.
have a
Oh,
comment, actually, two
Oh.
comments. Again, I'm going to repeat, I do this when we add classes each time. I'm listening to the, I believe that AP courses, like Steve said, are very important and can save money for kids that are going to college. But I'm still hearing the voice of the people in the community of kids that would rather go the vocational route. And the classes that are there for them are not as many as there, or as much as there used to be. And so I'm just bringing that voice to our board to remember every time we add a new class, that voice still wants to be heard. I know at Romeoville High School, they don't have fax, they have to go to Wilco. And at Bolingbrook, they do. And I know that that would be family and family and consumer sciences, and other vocational classes that they would like to have in their home school if at all possible. I would like for us to look into that a little bit more if at all possible. I know that there are people out there that, for driver's education, that a lot of the people have to wait until they're juniors now or seniors to take that class, and then, or they have to spend the $400 or $500 to take it on their own if they can't get it during the school year or during summer school. And I would like to take a look at that again for those students that might have a tough time with that, to see if there's anything else we could do to get more kids within our school to be able to take these classes. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, Legal Services Report.
No report.
AFT Report. Come on down.
Good evening, Dr. Mitchum, President Quigley, members of the board, and senior leadership. I am Renee Calabrese, the president of the Valley View Council. First off, on behalf of myself, Dan Bourne, our vice president, and our negotiating team, we would like to thank all of you for approving the tentative agreement that you just approved tonight. As much as I have enjoyed working with your negotiating team throughout this year-long process, I am glad that we were able to ratify this contract this time around. With that said, as our voter turnout was at an all-time high again, as we saw in October, there's still much work to be done as far as unifying our membership. Our trend data in this district has shown that less than 10% approval rating for the last 3 contracts, in 2012, in 2015, and now in 2018. We plan to seek more ways and opportunities to unify our council more than ever, starting by providing our membership an opportunity to have their voice heard, in hopes of gaining understanding as to where we may have fallen short with this tentative agreement. I look forward to continue to collaborate with senior leadership and all of you to ensure that we are offering and giving all of our dedicated Valley View employees the best that we possibly can. Thank you.
Thank you. Valley View Council Report. No report, yeah. Office Personnel Council Report. No report. Any old business before the board this evening? Hearing none, seeing none.
I only have one thing. Last board meeting, one of the liaisons from Bolingbrook High School brought up a health class that involved different things. Are we pursuing that or looking into that at all? I think that was an excellent idea.
Yeah, it was actually coincidental timing. Our health teachers have been working on a couple different things. 1, offering additional health offerings. 2, offering like upper level health courses so that there was opportunity to take honors for students who had interest in those fields, as well as looking at the current content of the courses. So the students' specific comments were related to mental health. And so while that is an integral part of a lot of the efforts we have right now through health and SOS, which is signs of suicide, and a lot of other programming that we bring to our students, we know there's a lot of opportunity to grow that. So I'm awaiting some recommendations from our health teachers in terms of how we can continue to strengthen that and increase offerings. We're also looking at things like industry credentials, as that's part of the career indicators and readiness. So speaking to Member Gilbo's comments, looking at how we can, in vocational ed, career and tech ed, or the health fields, increase the offerings. So I hope to have some additional information from the team that's working on that. And it's coincidental that they had already been meeting, and I think most recently met on January 17th. So I anticipate some update for the board soon. Mm-hmm.
Any new business this evening? Seeing none. Any questions from the public on actions we have taken this evening? Seeing none. Announcements by the board. From my left, I know Member Perro is ready to roll.
I am. Want to take mine, pass it down? I'll take mine. Last Friday and Saturday, I was down in Peoria with the band director and choir director from Bolingbrook High School, Amy Rupsis and Larry Fisher, and we did a presentation, breakout session, and it was a really, really neat experience. First of all, I have to say that the application process for applying to be able to do a presentation, I thought we were going to be presenting to the President of the United States. It was crazy ridiculous. So to be selected to present at the conference was a really big deal. And so we presented, and then Bob Hannerhoff, one of the band directors at Bolingbrook, also presented on Thursday. And so we had a really good showing of Valley View people. And we had three students from Bolingbrook and 1 student from Romeoville that were selected to, they made all states. So it was a very nice weekend, lots of great accolades for our students, and lots of PR for our district, so it was good. And I just gave everyone on the board that our handout that we had at our presentation. There's a little QR, whatever you call that thing, that if you want to see what our thing was about. So, thank you.
Any from my right? Real briefly, I'd just like to address the fact that we've had, some inclement weather, and I would like to thank very much so the maintenance folks from our school district, the public works people from the 2 villages that we represent, and their efforts, and the county also, because we have buses on county roads, for their efforts in keeping the streets safe and salted and clear as best they can. It is going to be we are supposed to be the coldest place on the planet on Wednesday, according to Tom Skilling. So even colder than the top of whichever mountain is the coldest this time of the year. Unbelievably so, but with the wind chills and all the, the minus whatevers, bundle up, stay warm. Also thank our teachers. We take everybody's safety at the utmost, and that of our students, of course. But I do want to acknowledge the work that those folks do out there. They're putting in 12 and 16-hour shifts to keep the streets clean. It's cold, it's nasty out, there's traffic, all the things that they have to deal with. Drive a little slower, give those guys some room when you're on the streets and, of course, in the parking lots and what have you. But they keep these buildings open. They keep the doors, the sidewalks clean. One was it Bolingbrook High School has 42 doors, Doc? Something in that. They have 42 doors at Bolingbrook High School, something that they have to clean. Every exit, every entrance has to be cleared. Just those types of things that happen behind the scenes that, typically we just don't even pay attention to. But, there's people out there at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And while I'm on it, the bus drivers who are getting up earlier than normal to get their buses heated up and get on the road. My son lobbied starting on Saturday to close schools. So, that's just the way it is. But kids, we want to keep you in school because you'll be bored and you'll be playing video games by 9 o'clock. So that being said, that's my 2 cents worth. Any other announcements by the board? Any announcements by the administration?
Yes, I won't repeat all that you said. I had planned on thanking all of those people as well. I would like to thank all the teachers and staff, in particular the support staff who braved the weather today, and the students for coming to school today. It was a difficult decision to make, and I'm glad that we are past that. I would especially like to thank Mike Lopez and his crew, because absent the work they do, none of this happens. The buses don't get out, people don't park, kids can't walk along the sidewalks on school property. So special thanks goes out to Mike and his crew. I know they were out there at 1 o'clock in the morning and probably still out there today working on our facilities to ensure that they're safe for our kids. As a token of my appreciation, I want to say publicly now that I plan on holding another annual get-together at my house for your folks. So that we can barbecue and throw bags and play horseshoes and the rest. And just as a token of my appreciation, obviously administration is invited and the board is invited because I do appreciate all the work that your guys do. Appreciate your leadership, Mike, as it applies to that. And again, absent the work that they do, none of this is possible. So thanks to everyone in the district, but in particular, thank you to you and your crew.
Any announcements from the public? Seeing none, hearing none, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Have a safe evening. Thank you very much.